going on, guys? This video is actually being sent to several key volunteers in the children's ministry and also several staff members. Um, Wanted to send this out to you guys because each of you are in some type of role where you are working on building your team. Um, One of the key things about leadership in any area of ministry, specifically children's ministry today, is you always have to be filling your leadership team. You have to be recruiting new volunteers. You have to have new people coming in because no matter what, if you get to the point where you have everything fully staffed, within 1 or 2 months, you're going to lose some people. There's transition in people's lives. Maybe their job changes and they're no longer available. People are pregnant and about to have a baby. People move. Um, Whatever it is that happens, there will always be transition. There's always going to be people leaving your area of ministry, and that is unavoidable. If you get to the point where everything is filled, that's not a season to sit back and rest. It's a team to just begin to build depth so that you have people ready to step into new roles. And the ideal is that you always have somebody, no matter who you lose, you always have somebody that you would be able to plug that position with because you have enough people waiting. So, wanted to talk about some of the strategies that I've used in recruiting a new team, or just in recruitment in general. There's several things that I do very systematically to make sure that my team is always well staffed and I always have enough people ready to go. So the first thing is, step number one is you have to identify all of the needed positions for your ministry. So if you're running a children's service, you probably need a coordinator, you need small group coaches, you need an operations coordinator, you need small group leaders, you need assistants, you need check-in workers, you need special needs people, you need someone running tech, you need people leading worship, all of those things. And every different service or campus has different dynamics to it. But the most important thing to start with is you have to look at everything that you need. Make a list of everything. If you've never thought to do that before, I think it's a really important step to start with because you can't fill a team unless you know all the positions that you have to fill. You can use a sports example. If you're creating a football team, you know you need one quarterback, one running back, a couple wide receivers, a tight end, 5 offensive linemen, whatever. You have to create the same structure as you build your team. Identify every position that you need to fill. The second step is you need to identify who is already on your team that is effectively filling one of those roles. So let's say you need to fill 10 different roles on your team, and maybe you have 8 people that are doing very well filling those roles. That means you have 2 gaps. So you want to go through your whole list of every position that needs to be filled and match them up with the names of people that you actually have that are filling that position. As a result, you have all the positions that you have, all the people that you have, you are going to be left with several holes. That's step number 3. Identify all of the holes that you have in your ministry. What positions remain unfilled after you have everyone on your team plugged in? Those are your key areas that you need to begin to staff. If you need a tech person, you need to start looking out for someone that has skills with technology that can run the sound and the lighting and the videos and things like that. So you begin to have an idea of who you need to add to your team. So that's step number 3, identify all of the holes and have a list there. Now the 4th step is when you actually get into people that you're looking to add. Number 4, I would encourage you to make a list of your potential people that you want to recruit. You should always have a running list of people that you are in the process of talking to or people that you want to talk to. Over the years that I've been here, I've had lists of 50, 60, 75 people that I'm looking to recruit. As Sarah and Melissa and I were working on recruiting Upward coaches, we had a list of over 100 people that we wanted to ask or were in the process of asking to join the Upward team and coach. If you don't have a list, what you typically will end up doing is you will just throw your hands up in the air and say, I don't have anyone to ask. So sit down and develop a list of people that may or may not be the best options, but start to plug away at them and begin to just have that list in front of you. Now, after you have your list of people, it's important to pause and make sure you have the right thing to say. So Just to review, number one, identify your positions. Number two, identify the people that are already on your team. Number three, identify the teams. Number four, make a list of people. Number five is develop your vision speech or your elevator speech. If you do not already have something like this, it's very important that you are able to talk to somebody and fully communicate what you're looking for them to do in the ministry in less than 30 seconds. This shouldn't take a long time. It's called an elevator speech because you should be able to fully present the elevator speech to people from one floor on the elevator to the next floor. It shouldn't take long. So some examples of things that I've used in the past. If I'm talking to a guy that I want to get involved in the children's ministry, I'll say something like, hey, you know what? There's so many young boys in our culture today that do not have a solid, godly male influence in their lives. And we need a lot of men to step up and invest in these young kids. I'd love to have someone like you to be able to set a godly example for these young boys who need someone that they can look up to, that they want to pattern their lives after. Would you be interested in joining our team? So notice the things that I said there were very specific to him. I talked about we need men. Here's why we need men. Here's some things going on in our culture. We need godly role models for these young boys. That's something that I would say. Another thing that I would say to people is, hey, did you know that the majority of your lifelong habits are formed before you turn 11 years old? So we're working with kids in one of the most crucial times of their lives, and what we want to do is we want to help them to establish regular patterns and habits in their lives of daily prayer, Bible reading, and scripture memorization while they're young, because if they don't learn them while they're young, it's a lot harder to change your ways when you get older. And I'd love to have someone like you on our team. I think you would make a great small group leader. And I would love to have you help instill these habits in these young kids as in one of the most crucial times of their lives. Would you be interested in joining my team? Those are just a couple of elevator speeches that I've used. Notice that neither of them took very long. It's a very quick 30 seconds, and you need to develop some sort of elevator speech that you can quickly throw out to people that is attractive, it's full of vision, and it speaks life to the people that are hearing it. So that is step number 5. Then step number 6 is contact a few people every week. I know that sounds pretty obvious. If you want to recruit people, you need to talk to them. So go back to your list that you have. If, like I mentioned, I've had lists of 50, 60, 75 people for the children's ministry. I mentioned a list of 100 people for Upward. I'll go to that list and I'll say, okay, this week I want to contact all of these people, and I'll get on the phone. I'll shoot them emails. I'll talk to them face to face. I use every form of communication to talk to them, and I would use my elevator speech. That's a very important dynamic that you want to make sure that you're giving them something that's full of vision. So real quick review. Number 1, identify all the positions that you have on your team. Number 2, look at all the people that you have filling those positions. Number 3, identify all the holes that you have of people that are not filling those positions. 4, make a list of potential people. Number 5, make your elevator speech. And number 6, start to contact the people on your list. Very simple process to go through, but it actually is a very effective way of doing things. And it's important to go in that order, because if you skip one of those steps, sometimes you're not even sure what you're looking for. So I wanted to just share that with you. Some of you may have heard me talk about this before, but we're talking about recruitment again with our staff team here, also with some of the key coordinators and leaders on our team. So I want to throw that out to you, and I'd like to see each one of you that are building your team just look into considering using those techniques and starting to build your team, starting to recruit some new people. It's so important to always be filling up your team, always get new people involved, and to have people waiting in the wings. Don't wait to recruit somebody until there's a desperate need. Have people join your team now and begin to train them so that they're ready to step into new roles as they become available. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you guys all this weekend. Alrighty.